Let's be honest. For the last 2 years, there have been two main use cases for NFTs, art and ponzis. The latter has been so successful and noisy that people often mistake NFTs for ponzis and think that's all there is to this technology. How will people actually use NFTs in the future though, when this is all far behind and the last monkey JPEG has been forgotten? One wonders. And so I searched and searched, googled near and far, trawled the depths of Twitter and YouTube, and was about to give up when... Wow! That is so cool! What? Oh, hey, I'm you from the future. I guessed? How distant?
Not allowed to say, sorry, but I got you this.
What was that?
I just downloaded some future use cases of NFTs to your hard drive. That's what you were looking for, right?
Yes? You came for just that?
Yep. Bye.
Wait, what about the future? Has there been a world war? Do we still have COVID lockdowns? Damn, he's gone. And so I looked at the stuff that future me had sent, and it was rather good. Hi everyone, my name is Daniel Tenner, aka Swombat, and in these videos I use my 15 years of experience as a successful entrepreneur working with hundreds of tech startup founders to bring some clarity to Web3 and NFTs. And today I got some help from my future self, as you saw. Also, this video is sponsored by Zen Academy, which is Zeneka's community where he's trying to bring together good people from all around the world to learn and succeed together. There's no exchange of money, but we get along well and we're both trying to help people understand NFTs better. So we decided, why not talk about each other more? Now, let's look at those 10 use cases. The first use case is around ticketing. Many people have said that tickets are ideal as NFTs, but few have dug into why this makes a lot of sense. The reason is, ticketing is fundamentally an infrastructure thing, and a very boring one at that. It's literally selling bits of paper that entitle you to go to an event on or offline, usually just once. Then you bin it or delete the email, and it's a big industry that impacts pretty much everyone. We all go to events. But it's an industry that's fragmented and dysfunctional, where each ticketing platform needs to rebuild everything from scratch and is siloed from all the others, and it's not very creative for an industry that touches all the creative industries. Decentralizing ticketing by making tickets into NFTs will mean that some elements of the infrastructure become common and open to all. This will speed up innovation and might also mean that people can do much more clever stuff with tickets, even after the event has come and gone, like enabling someone who's been to 10 concerts to go to a special private gig, for example. It will open up ways for event organizers and performers to connect to their biggest fans. Ticketing is really boring right now, but that's because it hasn't evolved much past the dumb pieces of paper that you use once stage. With the decentralized digital infrastructure, it will get much more interesting as promoters and creators find clever ways to leverage these new digital items. We create vast clouds of data around us as we live, but most of it is hidden away on private servers and useless, except for the companies that make it their purpose to know everything about us and use it to sell us random crap, of course. NFTs on a decentralized infrastructure offer the possibility of having that cloud of data accrue around us personally and be under our control in terms of who we disclose it to. Some of it is trivial but nice. The fact that I played every single Civilization game since the first one, which was actually the first game that I bought, is something I consider a cool feature of me. But there's no way to prove or assert that. In the future, I can display my relevant NFTs. Other stuff might be more impactful. Part of that cloud of data might include unfalsifiable, cryptographically verifiable reviews from clients or colleagues that can help create a network of trust that doesn't rely on personal connections alone. All of that can become part of your personal cloud of data that tracks your life, but which you own rather than Facebook, and which you reveal only when you choose. And we might finally get rid of those "Are you a robot?" captchas as a nice bonus. Faking an entire life's worth of NFT activity won't be easy, so it would be possible to prove that you're a unique human by sharing a glimpse of that cloud of data. There is no reason for most official documents, from birth certificates to driving licenses, to be done the way they are now, largely with paper and notarized signatures. NFTs can bypass this expensive infrastructure and enable entities to issue unfalsifiable documents that anyone can verify without needing to call a lawyer. This can apply to corporate licenses, like IP licensing, for example, as well. For anyone who's had to deal with official documents for things like getting married, buying a house, recording a movie that uses copyright materials, and so on, it should be obvious that making this process smoother will save a lot of time, money, and aggravation. At the same time, it will reduce or possibly even eliminate most kinds of counterfeiting. You might think this is not a big deal, but it's such a compelling use case that is already starting to happen today. South Korea is moving to NFT-based ID cards, and they reckon that move alone will boost their GDP by 3%. NFTs, like anything on a public blockchain, theoretically can't store private information, but actually they can. Public key cryptography, which is at the core of cryptocurrencies, means that you have two keys, a public one and a private one. If someone encrypts something with your public key, only you can decrypt it using your private key. This means that private records that are for your eyes only could be stored in an NFT that only you can choose to open up to specific people and organizations, like your GP, a hospital, and so on. Doctors have been debating letting people own their medical records for a couple of decades now, and it could be coming soon now via NFTs, and without the medical establishment needing to somehow come to an agreement about all of this, which, let's face it, might take them until the end of the next millennium. The countless ponzis of the last couple of years might seem like a bad thing, and they are, but they did point to one really strong use case for NFTs: fundraising. Compared to shares, NFTs are more liquid, which helps investors reinvest more often. They're more accessible, which enables non-accredited investors to participate in the most wealth-creating activity on Earth: creating new businesses. They're inherently global, which means that startups are no longer limited by their geography, and a startup based in a poorer part of the world, or even completely delocalized from day one, can still have access to real funding. And they're more exciting and fun than other forms of fundraising, which amplifies the marketing impact of a crowdfunding campaign. In other words, they're superior to traditional fundraising via angels in a lot of ways, and likely to result in more things being funded. Innovative startups are the engine that changes the world. Funding more of them will accelerate the pace of change and lead to even more technological revolutions powered by NFT funding. We're still at the very beginnings of owning things online. At the end of the day, property is just a concept we invented. Until NFTs, it didn't really apply to digital creations in a meaningful way. But with crypto for currency and NFTs for basically everything else, suddenly it's possible to meaningfully own something online. Which is about time, since we already spend an average of 6 hours a day on the web. And this number is only going up. And we've done all this while letting corporations own everything and only loan us stuff as long as they like us, like our Instagram and TikTok usernames, or our social networks and sites like Facebook, which can be taken away at any moment. Now, real meaningful online property is coming. Thanks to this, there will be an economic revolution as entire industries evolve to create all these digital items for us to enjoy. And before you say, but you can't eat an NFT, it's not really real. You can't eat a DVD or a Lego set or an expensive suit either, and yet you spend good money on those as well. Everyone with any sense knows that we have huge climate challenges facing us. Part of the solution has to involve actually becoming aware of what goes into producing the items we purchase. As long as all the collateral damage is hidden, it's very difficult to change consumer behavior to not buy stuff that's harmful because we can't see the harm. While a few companies like Apple publish extensive environmental impact reports, most don't, and there's a good reason for it. It's really hard to trace all those things, and fairly easy to fabricate records along the way. Here again, the traceability and unfalsifiability of NFTs can help. Eventually, when you buy a phone, it might come with an NFT that authenticates all the materials that went into it, how they were processed, how much CO2 they emitted, and so on. Eventually, it will be the same for buying new shirts or a grapefruit. There's already been one house sold as an NFT, but in the future, this will be far more common. This is related to number 3. A house deed is just another official document. But when buying a house, a huge amount of work is done to authenticate things, to make sure that the seller is actually the owner, etc. This is all wasted effort, and with NFTs it can be done with a couple of clicks. And before you say, what if your wallet gets hacked and you lose your house? Of course, for something as important and rarely transacted as a house, people would not use private wallets. Custodial wallets or even multi-signature systems that require more than one approval to perform the transaction would be the obvious solution to ensure you don't wake up one day to find out your house has been stolen while you slept. Even if we do it the really slow way and real estate transactions still need to be confirmed at City Hall, storing all the relevant information in NFTs will speed things up. And this doesn't need to stop at real estate. All sorts of things from art to cars to everyday items could have their ownership records tracked by NFTs. It may seem silly to go to this trouble for things that aren't big and expensive and rarely traded, like a shoe or a toothbrush. So we'll probably start with luxury items where authenticity is important and worth asserting, but there's no reason why we would stop there. If you'd told someone 30 years ago that basically everyone would carry a supercomputer with instant access to the world in their pocket and not even think about it, most people would have felt that that was excessive and unlikely, and suggested maybe just a phone was already enough. But here we are. Eventually, every single thing we have will have an NFT attached to it. People have been talking about the Internet of Things for some time now. NFTs could be the way it finally happens at scale. Wait, what? But I don't... Ah, right. I don't think we're anywhere near a time where we'll spend much of our waking hours in VR goggles, ensconced in a 3D fantasy world. That's great for games, but most of our lives happen in the real world around us. But augmented reality is coming fast, and digital art will be a part of this. The global digital art marketplace has already started, though it's still in its infancy. It's one of the few really good things we can say has come out of Web3 so far. But as AR becomes more common, displaying digital items will become more of a thing. Digital art will become all the more relevant when you can actually display it in a way that people can see. AR will bring the ability to display and experience art, and NFTs will bring the ability to collect and own. This will make NFT art even more desirable to people who are not hardcore collectors who spend tens of thousands of dollars on NFTs. Now, instead of buying cheap paintings at the flea market, they will buy NFTs in a similar way. Most of those are future use cases of NFTs, but today, the two major applications that are gathering speed right now are art and fundraising. If you are looking at investing in NFTs, you'll want to watch out though, because there are still many ponzis and empty projects. You might want to watch this video about how to recognize empty projects before you buy anything. GM, and good luck.